bags are packed, are you ready to go? This time tomorrow we'll be on the road, riding with you in the sunnier days. I wouldn't want it any other way.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Children of Éarte for another week of adventure. We're so excited to have you here with us. And as usual, we'll kick it over to Adam to start with our sponsors.
I'm going to try to get through here tonight. Little tickly cough, very, very irritating. We're just going to say that Silas has been underwater for a very long time.
Yes.
This place is really messing with his allergies. That's what we're going to go with tonight. But,
He was also singing at the top of his lungs a couple of times.
Yeah, that was
and
it.
recounting the entire biblical ancestry.
Genesis, all of those things. So
your voice was put to work.
That was it. First, we have Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. Thank you so much for your support. And you can grab an Electrum chest code on the overlay or bouncing around in chat. Thank you, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. We also have Die Hard Dice, who has supplied our cast with, I think we are all the way through the list except for Deborah. So they have supplied our cast with Deborah's Diegesis Deciders. Deborah's Diegesis
I like that
Deciders.
word. I was expecting devilish to get in there in some
devilish
way.
would have been good too.
Devilish deciders.
Deborah's Diegesis Destroyers?
Yeah. Devilish Destroyers. Let's go all the way. So you can get 10% off an order at dieharddice.com with the code Éarte, and we will also be giving away a $20 off coupon discount code. Pay attention to the prompts in chat for that, and good luck on that giveaway. And then we also have our friends at Tailspire. With Tailspire, the beauty and physicality of tabletop gaming meet the endless possibilities of a digital world. And you can win some Steam keys to try that out. I've tried it out. It is really, really epic. So again, good luck on that. Pay attention to the prompts in chat a little bit later for that as well. And finally, tonight, you'll hear the dulcet tones of Sirenscape, because epic games need epic sound. I'm Adam Bradford, the CDO at Demiplane, and tonight I am playing your dimensionally displaced magical superfan, Silas Sorrell.
Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. I'm Alicia Marie. You can find me on all socials at Alicia Marie Body, and of course I'm here with this lovely crew every Tuesdays, but now starting on Mondays, I am over on Sandy Games Twitch channel for a familiar quest where I actually get to play the familiar that I created for Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms.
It's so cute.
It was Misty. I was like, how am I playing a familiar with no arms and legs, but she's kind of like a monk? So it's like, I had a lot of fun trying to like flavor it. She's cute. And tonight, as usual, I am playing my favoriteest, Fairuza Armstrong, attorney at law.
Hello, I am Jen Kretchmer. You can find me on socials as @DreamWisp, streaming on Twitch as DreamWispJen. This Wednesday, I will be joining the one and only the Hope LaVelle. Here's the Valsetta. And I'll let Hope give all of the details about that show, but I will be going and paying them a visit. But tonight, I am playing your friendly neighborhood troublemaker, Maeve Morgan Flynn.
Hi, I'm Lauren Urban. I'm the content manager over at Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, which you've heard quite a bit about today. You can find me on the socials as Obo Lauren, and tonight I am playing Neb, who's just very confused.
Hello, I'm Hope LaVelle. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheHopeLaVelle. You can watch me be a Dungeon Master on Misfits of Valsetta every Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. And yes, tomorrow we are we have an amazing guest star, Miss Jen Kretchmer. So it's going to be absolutely lovely. We're so excited. We had Adam Bradford last week, and it was just such a joy. So let it continue the adventure. But tonight I am playing your favorite granny for hire, Miss Robin Beckett, who this might not be her first run-in with a gnome. So we'll see.
Oh,
Wonderful. I love it when you can surprise me. I hope I'm prepared.
I used to craft garden gnomes back in the
I
Did I?
used to
one day.
be
One
a
of them
garden
came
As
to
the
life.
garden gnome, I once sat in an English garden for 15 years.
And I'm Deborah Ann Woll. I'm your storyteller for this evening. Thank you all, players, Josh behind the camera, behind the scenes here, for being with us, and all of you at home. So yeah, let's settle in, grab yourself something cozy, and we'll settle into our 41st chapter of Children of Éarte. So as we remember last time, very exciting. You escaped from the depths of the ocean, out of the sea lab as it was being torn from its base by these terrifying underwater monsters. You made your way up as Silas recited the begats to keep your minds focused and not creating any more danger. As you reach the surface, it is now morning. The sun is beginning to come out, but the storm is still going. We're not fully past. While the eye of the storm has crossed through, there is still quite a lot of waves, tall waves, wind, rain. And you have noticed, within this, getting to shore as well, the dock is floating, but is, far off. The boat is gone, smashed somewhere. The water level is right up. The beach is very, very narrow. And you found this friendly little seal that seemed to sort of help you find some planks of wood to float on, to be able to get back to shore somewhat more safely. And as soon as you all crawled up, shivering, literally the tips of your fingers turning blue and your lips turning blue, everything shaking with cold, this little seal stood next to you and transformed into a small man who looked almost exactly like a garden gnome. He looked at you and said, "Rough night, huh?" And that is where we'll begin our story this evening.
So funny. I have in my notes, garden gnome.
That's what he looks like. He's got a long white beard, pale skin, but with little, apple cheeks. He's got, long white hair, a little blue cap that sort of falls over the side, a little green vest with a red shirt and blue pants.
Are you real?
Nev's gonna hold up her hands, holding the berries that she's creating. Go, do you still want a berry?
He looks and goes, "Pshaw! Are you real?"
I don't know, actually.
That's a
We've
very...
been through a bit.
Well, come on then. And he turns, he waves to you, turns around and starts to sort of waddle down the beach, almost like a penguin. And as he kind of makes his way down the side of the beach, again, this very narrow, like 2 foot of sand that's available as the waves kind of come crashing in. And you can see him heading down the beach towards that sort of utility shed control center area. But he seems to be kind of staying closer to the cliffside.
Well, do we follow?
Should we follow him?
Yes.
This is the first person that we ran into. We are following this
Also,
person.
we got to get to that shack because there's no way we can stay out here right now.
Good
And-
idea.
Maeve, who has already just flopped down on the beach because exhaustion
Yes.
and 1 hit point, just goes, "More walking."
Oh, hey. I can give you a little pick me up. And then you see Silas start doing his fingers like this, and little waves of energy start sending you some good vibrations. And I'm going to use healing light.
Good
It's kind of got a
vibration.
greenish look to it, and it is going to heal for let's see, that's going to be 2d6. So do you want to roll that, Jen?
Do you want to roll it since it's your magic?
Okay, I can. Let's see. Big money. So it's going to be 9 hit points.
Nice. Nice.
Back up
Much
to double
appreciated.
digits.
You should think about selling that. You'd make a killing off a Red Bull.
Hey, listen, we've already established bunches of money if we get back to the other thing, so I don't need to sell it. But
That's
honestly,
right.
if I come back and somebody's taken over my fortune, like the mafia finally got to me, whatever it is, then yes, I hope this stuff still works on the other side.
Well, maybe for other people's benefit then. Oh,
As you're talking, he stops about 20 feet away. What's the holdup?
it's been a rough night.
Yeah, the aforementioned rough night.
And
Established.
Maeve pulls out, unfolds her cane,
Mm-hmm.
puts it up, and all right, fine.
He turns, continues to waddle. You can see he's going around the side of this shed, down kind of a narrow little space between the cliffside and the building, and he seems to sort of disappear behind the side of a rock.
Just a quick question before we follow you into some
His little
shady,
head pokes
dark
out the side.
alley.
Yeah.
Who are ya?
Pivum Bandicoot. Here, move on.
Heaven and
Answered so many questions.
right now we just worry about taking care of ourselves. Maybe.
And Piven Bandicoot, why should we trust you?
He pokes out. He goes, "Freeze if you want to."
Yeah, Maeve, listen, I think we need to get away from whatever is going on in that water right there. And even if this person is taking us into this dark alley to kill us, it's probably better that we'll just...
Besides, we can take them.
Are you recalling the creature that was making us imagine the thing we wanted to find near us?
Is that what was going on? I was very confused
that's
by a
the
lot of
best
that.
I could figure.
Okay.
But
I don't
the
know.
shark
I got
was
stung
very,
by a lot
very-
of jellyfish. So
Yeah, and the shark was very, very real.
At this point, Robin.
Well, I'm
is-
not going to comment on why you would want to be stung by a lot of jellyfish, but
I didn't want that.
your choices are
I
yours.
swear.
Can we be arguing and walking?
Miss
Arguing
Robin's
and walking,
gone.
please?
Yes.
Let's go.
All right, you make your
Yeah.
way down. Who goes first to sort of squeeze between the shed and the
Robin.
Sounded like
Go
Miss
first.
Robin
Yes.
did.
Yeah.
but
All right, Robin's
Silas
happy
will
to do it.
scurry after.
Yeah.
Robin, you slide in there, making your way through, and you can see that hidden behind this jut of a rock, there is kind of an opening that goes into the cliffside.
Well, if this isn't magical, I don't know what is. Can she fit in this little?
You can, yeah, you can slide through. It's pretty tight, but it's just a little sliver, and as you come through, it is kind of opening up into a bit more of a bit of a cavern. And you can see that he has climbed up. There's been sort of, chiseled into the stone little steps or a little ladder, and he is slowly kind of climbing. They're very, very narrow little 2-inch struts as he climbs up and sort of hoists himself up onto the top of this ledge at the back there and looks down and goes, hurry up.
Am I supposed to climb the? I mean, I'm pretty good here. If you know.
This way, up.
All right. And she'll wait. Robin will wait for the others.
Okay.
Okay. I'm right behind you. Fairuza's right
Does
behind
Silas
you.
fit?
Silas fits. Everybody
Okay,
fits.
yeah.
It's just a space,
Yeah.
Got it.
little
Yeah.
2-3
Right.
feet,
Mm.
and you
How
make
did
it
we-
into the space.
How did we not know this was here? This is like, you always check behind a waterfall in movies and stuff.
Magic.
We should start checking behind everything.
You climbing up? Following
Yeah.
me?
So,
All right.
are there handhold footholds? I missed that part. Like,
Yes,
is it,
there are. So they're like
Okay.
chiseled little
Oh.
handholds, little foothold, little ladder
Okay,
kind
yeah.
of space.
still
going up.
appropriately precarious though. I imagine.
Yeah, you got to climb them, but you can do it.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, it's like 7 feet, which is, a really
Oh.
tall climb for him, but for you, it's not
Okay,
so bad.
understood.
Yeah. So as I guess Robin's still leading the way, Robin, as you sort of pull yourself up onto this ledge, you can see that it does. It again opens up into kind of a nice little seated area. He's got some like driftwood in there that's set up around a fire. And you actually see as he stands there, he snaps his fingers and a little spark flies into the air and lands on a pile of dry wood, lighting a little campfire. As he walks around the side and sort of sits down on a tiny little stick and sort of says, "Come on, get warm."
Wow. Well, this
Invites
is
you in.
quite
Don't mind
a
if I do.
get close to the fire and start to warm
Yeah.
up.
So yeah, you will all fit. It's a little tight in this,
Yeah.
little cavern area, but it's cozy, very warm, very dry. You can even see as you look down past you some of the waves that are able to kind of crash up and make their way in around the shed. They can't get in high enough to sort of get past this ledge. So it's really a really nice sort of dry, safe space that he's found up here.
I don't mean to be an expert or anything, but I was once a journalist for a local newspaper in my town, and I solved the mystery of the missing garden gnomes. And the one thing I learned is that garden gnomes, well, they're never really ever found just one. They kind of usually, in a colony, or you never have just one. Where are the others?
They're back home, of course.
Home? Where's home?
Home, Lorelia. Haven't been there in years. I'm a bit of an oddball, a bit of a wanderer myself.
You're out here all by yourself? Why?
I'm looking for Éarte.
What's that?
You must have.
Why does
heard
that sound
of
so
Éarte.
familiar?
That's the place that Ivy said we're children of.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes, I thought you must be. You must be children of Éarte. Yes.
Out of curiosity,
We've
why do
been
you
told.
think that? Yeah. What, do we smell or something?
Oh, you're soft, you're brittle.
I mean,
But
that's.
you're soft and brittle, but yet smart, compassionate. Yes.
I like to think so.
Is that the criteria for being a child of Éarte?
I mean, I'm
Some of
pretty
the
brittle.
Defining aspects, yes.
I don't know. Fairuza's pretty strong. I wouldn't call her brittle at all.
I'm trying not to
She has
be.
no shell.
Shell?
She has no scales.
No. Am I supposed to have scales?
Soft, brittle. Yes.
Oh, tell us about Éarte.
Éarte. Oh, mystical, magical land.
Are
We
you
all
a child
know
of
this
Éarte?
No,
No.
I'm a child of Lorelia.
Oh, the person
Lorelia.
you said that was home.
Could you
Okay.
kindly spell that?
Says never bothered to spell, never bothered to read.
Could
What's the
you
point?
say it a little slower then?
La, re, li, ah.
Fair enough. Thank you.
So if
Why
if
are
you're-
you looking for Éarte?
Well, many believe it doesn't exist, but I know that it does, and I know that it is the crux. The crux, yes, the crux.
Crux?
Of what?
The crux of the future.
Really?
Either its progress or its destruction.
Oh,
Could be a bit of both.
sounds
if it's where
dire.
we're from.
very
So-
dramatic.
if this isn't Lorelia, you said you're from there, but you're looking for Éarte, so this isn't Éarte. Where are we now?
Oh, you're in the Veil.
The Veil.
This is the Veil.
The veil?
Is that like a veil with an A? I know you don't read or spell, but is that like, or is it a veil?
This place is known as the Veil. It's a waypoint, the space between and connection to all of the livable worlds. This is the place where souls of unsettled spirits reside.
It's purgatory.
Haunting
I
beyond
told you all it was purgatory.
Oh,
wait.
no.
Wait,
How did
wait,
we get here? We just took a trip.
There are many ways to get to the Veil. Well, no, I shouldn't say. There are a few ways to get to the Veil.
we went through a door that we weren't supposed to.
That sounds
Somehow.
that sounds like a possible way.
What are
We
the
were
other
on a
ways to
train.
get
Have
here?
you ever heard of that?
Sure, I've seen the train. Yes.
The train? There's only the one.
As far as I know, yes.
Oh.
Yes.
What are the other ways to get here?
Well, powerful magic can tear a temporary rift. And then there are the scribes. The scribes. Only one per generation that are gifted with the ability to cut through reality at will. But sometimes they forget to close these passages, and lucky wanderers like myself find them and travel through.
Okay, I
Very
have.
irresponsible.
Here's an important question. Why would a child of Éarte be pulled into the Veil? For what reason?
If you are who I believe you to be, you shall defeat the rulers.
Why do the rulers need to be defeated?
They've run amok, of course.
Well, I mean, I don't know about just storming into somebody else's home and destroying rulers.
I mean,
tell me.
who are
You
the
don't know the
rulers, and like, why do we
stories.
not like them?
No, I think as you can probably tell by all the questions, we've had a lot of these questions, but no answers. And the only person we've been able to talk to since we ended up in the Vale has been a ghost lady that we can only talk to at one specific time of night.
Well, and
There are
sometimes
many
you talk to
ghosts here.
rats and wolves.
Well, yeah, but they don't know anything about where we are.
Hmm.
Do you know of a woman named Ivy or a man named Julian? Does that ring a bell?
No bells rung, no.
Okay.
Can't say as I do.
Okay.
Who is the current scribe? Do you know?
I don't know, no. They are very mysterious. Because they are much sought after, they are often in disguise, hidden away from this world.
So you were like a seal. So
Yeah.
that means you know how to do magic? Like
Oh, yes,
Neb's been
Elfie.
turning into things?
Oh yes, I always knew I had these little gifts, little things I could do. And once I tumbled through into the Vale, all of a sudden my magics grew. I've been here nearly 3 years.
But
By
only
yourself?
while you're in the Vale.
I have not been back since.
Okay. So, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty excited about the fact that I found someone else who knows how to do the turning into animals thing. So when you figured that out, like, how do you do that?
I think of what I would like to be, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But
Do you know
Can
why
you
it
turn
doesn't
into
work?
a dinosaur?
oh, the dragons. You mean the dragons?
Oh.
Dragons.
There are dragons.
The
Oh.
dragons of old.
Well, wait. Do you
Éarte.
really? Okay, so it's possible that they still mean dinosaur because remember, people thought that the bones of like the Tyrannosaurus Rex were dragons at first. So good. I mean, either is cool. I'm not gonna lie. Turning into a dinosaur or a dragon would be really, really cool.
They did just say of old Éarte.
Okay, but how do you turn into a dragon?
This is not one that I have taken on myself before. No. A dragon is not possible for me.
Oh.
Perhaps we should ask a bit about this place and the peoples of it, since this is the first person we've been able to talk to who's a native, who can actually talk back to us about it.
Yes, lore drop. Let's go.
I mean, besides the rats, but I see what you mean.
I mean, before the exposition,
I
should we
said
let it some
person.
rest?
I don't know about the rest of you, but I would love to know a lot. I don't know if I can go to sleep.
If you would like to short rest or a long rest, he can tell you stories while that happens.
Yes.
Short
please.
rest
Yes.
and a story would be the
Let's
best
do
thing ever.
Rest and-
In fact, a long rest and a story, a bedtime
Mhm.
story, several stories, and some sleep.
let's do this. Let's short rest and story, and then we'll do your watches and things like that, and let you all long rest back your stuff here. So that I can protect my voice, we will do this in somewhat third person. So his name is Piven Bandicoot. He comes from another world. He explains to you this world is called Lorilia. It is a lush, natural world where wildlife reigns. They have grown large and powerful in this place. His kind are very adept at hiding amongst the greenery. And he discovered, yes, that he had a special gift. He could talk to animals, he could imitate them. And one day he stumbled upon a hole in the forest where the trees didn't quite line up. He passed through and he discovered this place and that there was more to his gift than he realized. He spent nearly 3 years here. His magics have only grown in that time, but he is lucky. There are many times he's almost lost his life or worse, his mind. So he explains to you that this place is known as the Vale. It is a waypoint, a space between and connection to all the livable worlds. This is where the souls of unsettled spirits reside, haunting beyond the Vale and infecting whatever physical form they can latch onto. He says this is a lonely and dangerous place for the living. Too much time here can corrupt one's mind and sap one's vitality. Only living creatures with a strong tie to the natural world are able to cross both sides of the Vale. He says, whenever a wolf growls at a shadow, a flock of birds suddenly changes course, or a cat jumps at nothing, you can be sure there is a disturbance beyond the veil.
Cool.
That's why everything's been trying to kill us here. Explains everything.
Most things, not everything.
So yes, he says very few ways to get to the veil. Powerful magic can tear or between any worlds, really. Powerful magic can tear a temporary rift that closes soon after. Then there are the scribes, only one per generation, that are gifted with the ability to cut through reality at will. Sometimes they forget to close, and people like himself can travel. And then an unsettled death, of course, would be the only other way. The veil follows the contours of a mystical land only heard of in stories. Most think this place is a myth, but few, like himself, believe differently. They feel it in their bones and have spent their whole lives searching for it. It is known as Éarte. Éarte is filled with fantastical creatures that grew from the primordial muck, ever adapting. Dragons wiped out by boulders that fell from the sky, behemoths of the deep sea existing without light under enormous pressure, and brittle, soft-skinned folk that against all odds prosper on their intelligence and natural instinct toward compassion. However, recently he has felt a change. The animals are restless and afraid. More spirits inhabit this place than ever before, and they are angrier and hungrier. He has been hiding, doing his best to stay out of trouble, but then he saw you. Looks at you all, he goes, I knew what you were. You are children of Éarte. And your being here can mean only one thing. You are here to set things right. And he settles in to tell you the story that he has heard ever since he was a little child. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there were 4 rulers called upon to uphold the balance of nature. Each was granted immortality as long as they never strayed from their home world. They were not to interfere with the others and rule in peace. But this is so often not the way of life. Centuries passed and they began to covet each other's gifts, desiring to rule as one leader over all. They left their home realms to spur rebellions across the worlds and build their armies. This led only to ruin and unhappiness for all the inhabitants. Only one world remained untouched. A mystical land known as Éarte, hidden beyond the veil and nearly impossible to reach. This became the final goal for the insatiable rulers. Whoever could find and control Éarte would wrest ultimate power over the others. We are now worlds abandoned, and it is prophesied that balance will only return when each ruler is defeated, and that this may be done only by true children of Éarte. As the firelight flickers on his face and you all begin to feel warmer, begin to feel a sense of ease and rest come over you, you are welcome to set your long rests. He will remain awake. You can speak with him if you would like, or you can take your time. You can now hear, now that a few hours have passed, that the storm is beginning to subside outside. It is still raining, but it is gentle, so you are able to leave if you would like to.
Okay, I've got like 7 questions. Okay? but I'm going to start with 2. Okay, so first, if I heard you right, you had abilities and magical powers before you got to the veil. Did I hear that right?
Yes, little sparks. But
Okay.
It wasn't until I came here that I fully felt them awaken.
Got it. Okay, so there is the possibility that, because I'm terrified of losing all of the new toys that I've found in the last week here, but there is the possibility, if we ever make it back, that we might be able to still do it. You're saying there's a chance.
He looks at you, his eyes sort of wide. He says, I have never found my way back to Lorilia. I only know who I was then and who I am now.
I think there's a chance. Excellent. Next question, and then I'll let Neb jump in, and then I'll continue with my other 2 dozen. So next question, the rulers. When you talk about the rulers, is there anything in that legend that talks about how they are defeated? Like, is defeating the same thing as in a lot of those fairy tale stories, which is just like killing them dead? Or is like defeating just, getting them to say they're sorry, or are there any details like that?
He says, he says, this is only a child of Éarte will know. We believe as long as things are set back in balance.
So
This can be
nebulous.
accomplished.
Yeah, understood. Okay. All right. Speaking of nebulous, Neb, what do you got? What kind of questions you got?
I mean, I've got two sets of questions. One that is incredibly selfish, and I just want to know more about your powers because it seems like I have kind of the same thing, and I want to know more about everything that you can do and try to learn. But I feel like maybe it makes more sense to ask. You said you know about the train.
Yeah.
Have
Yes.
What do you know about the train? Because the train is how we got to the Veil.
The train has always been here. Sometimes it comes through, sometimes it stops. The train is nothing special.
Has it ever dropped anybody else that you think's from Éarte?
No, I've never seen another like you.
So the train was just our specific way here, specially.
I do not know how you got here. I have been looking for a way to travel to Éarte almost every day of my life. You are the first that I have ever met that is from there. If I knew how to get there, I would ask. If I don't know, and I would ask you how to return.
When you saw the train before, did you see anyone on it, Éarte or otherwise?
No, the train just runs.
So given that this is the Veil, we're supposed to get out of here as soon as possible. Is there like a time limit, or before we start turning into?
He sort of shrugs. He says, "This is a dangerous place. I have only survived so long because I am lucky. If I could find my way back to Lorilia, I would go home, see my family. But mostly I have been concerned with trying to find a way, a portal, playing with my magics, trying to develop something that will allow me to pass into Éarte. But perhaps I need not if I have found you, if you have come on your own."
Have you ever heard of a mirror?
A mirror? Sure. Yes, mirrors exist. Yes.
Have you ever heard of a very special magical one that has trapped the soul of someone who burned to death in a horrible fire that will get us back to Éarte?
Sounds like a great story. No.
Oh, wait.
You should write that one down.
Wait until Silas starts telling you our story. It's unbelievable at best.
So, may I ask, Piven, you were mentioning these other worlds. Are they all connected only through the Veil? How do you get to each? You have to. Okay.
Yes. This is the waypoint between all of them.
Right.
There are passages into the 4 other worlds. Only Éarte remains hidden. I believe the scribes may have the ability to create an opening to Éarte, but as I said, they are very mysterious, hidden folk.
I really want you to meet Ivy. I have no idea what's going to happen when that happens, but will you come with us? Because we're on a mission to try to collect a whole bunch of shards for a mirror for a friend of ours who is trapped in there. And we have no idea what's going to happen once we're done putting it all together, but we've kind of thought that might be a way to either go home or go somewhere else. And it sounds like that assumption is kind of lining up with what you might know.
I anything I can do to help the children of Éarte. The fate of our worlds rests upon your actions.
If we go home, we can take Piven with us. I mean, he'll fit right in with us.
We cannot Amelie him.
Robin, you can write an article.
I don't know what that means.
But you will. It's delightful. You're gonna love it. A few things.
Yes.
So, the first, what are the rules here? Manners. For example, we have stories in our world about other worlds. Some of them are say, if you eat the food, you're in trouble. If you sit the wrong way, or you tuck the wrong way, or you cross the wrong people by doing certain things that to us would not be particularly wrong. It's a cultural relativism situation. What are the rules here? I'm sure they change from place to place, but overall,
Vale has no rules as far as I know. There is no civilization in the Vale. There is only me and you and any other lucky or unlucky folks who happen to find their way here.
Do you know someone named Steve?
Steve?
Right.
This is a strange.
No,
strange name.
perhaps their name was not Steve. They were.
Have you
a
ever been to the
tall-
mine?
Excuse me, I was talking here. There's this main stone. They have lots of
Sorry.
cabins.
Aha.
Sorry, Adam. That was not at you. I promise.
No, go ahead. I had some lag anyway. All good. Go ahead.
Okay. That came off really rude. I apologize. Just that is a
All
Gen
good.
2.
TV RPG. We're at it.
Check in with your fellow players, friends.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Table safety is important. No, it's a tall person or a tall being with a lot of carvings made of stone, light pocket watches.
Oh, do you speak of the servant?
The servant.
Whoa. What?
Do you speak of the servant?
Whose servant, though?
I mean, he was servant to the train, if I
Let
remember.
our friend speak,
The
please.
Created to
We
serve
keep
and
interrupting.
protect.
Please let our friend speak.
Created to serve and protect each ruler when called upon.
Ooh.
We have not heard of them for decades, centuries, much time. They have been lost to the stories, to the lore.
And now they are lost to real life.
You said you have seen this servant?
Yes. We actually found him in the bottom of a 3-tiered cave.
I think there were 4 tiers. But
4 tiers, 5 tiers. But yeah, the rat party was 2, right? Something like that, yeah.
I thought it was 3, but I don't know. It was several days ago.
Are there? You said there's one for each ruler, so there's
No,
4 servants.
one servant created to serve and protect all.
Oh.
So each pocket watch represents one of the rulers.
Oh.
But
Each
why
ruler
would the servant
with
of
each
the
world.
ruler?
Each world?
Each world, one ruler.
Well,
In my world, in Lorilia, we have Queen Zola,
Queen Zola.
fearsome Queen Zola.
Queen Zola.
What is special about Queen Zola?
Oh, she seemed to be one with the mountains and mud, disappearing effortlessly within the contours of the land.
Cool.
Are all 4 rulers still around, or is one missing?
I know nothing of the other rulers. I know only of my land.
So to find a way to get to these lands, I mean, you said you haven't been able to find your way back. How would we find our way to these worlds?
You would need to find a scribe to cut you a way through. As I said, powerful magic sometimes can rip open a temporary rift, or you have to stumble upon a passage that is already open. I have spent some time searching for the passage that brought me here, but it is well disguised, and I have not yet been able.
You guys, what if Ivy is a scribe, and once we release her, she can open a portal to send us home or somewhere?
It's possible. Also, I would love to know a bit more about the myths about the other rulers and lands. I'd love to know the stories that your people tell about these other worlds, because I don't know about you, but where I come from, they talk about people like you. We call them Selkies or gnomes. There's multiple different stories. You seem to fit a few different different categories,
Oh,
but
how
you're part
strange.
of the stories, and I think there's something to learn from those. So I'd be curious about what you know about these other situations.
I know that when the rulers stay within their realms, within their worlds, and care for the peoples and the creatures of those lands, that things are in balance. That each one was, granted based on their particular traits and their strengths. We have, in my world, which is a lush green place, our queen is of the land. We hear that the other lands may focus on the other elements of nature: water, fire, air.
And when those aren't in balance, what happens?
They all begin to mix. Places that were once, vast oceans filled with life begin to dry up and desert. Others that were green set fire. Those that were molten rock begin to harden and die. This is what is happening within our four worlds. I don't know what changes have happened within Éarte because of
Hey,
All of
listen,
those
buddy.
things.
Yeah. If this is all up to Éarte, then we haven't figured any of that stuff out yet.
No.
We have all of that happening.
Well, then
The oceans
may-
dry
may
up,
the
the fires
gods help
People
us
aren't even
all.
concerned about it. So
So, tell us, do you know the names of the other lands?
I do not know. I've not been.
Are there heroes of your stories?
There are heroes from I know the stories from Lorilia. There are heroes, many of them animal folk, as I said. They are the rulers of our realm, of our land. As you know, my name, Piven Bandicoot, the Bandicoots. I come from a wondrous grassland filled with large marsupials. They really create huge, incredible, vast complexes beneath the ground. They are wise and intelligent rulers. We love them dearly, and they take very good care of us. They have had numbers of stories of Bandicoot heroes who have found their way to saving other small communities of folks like myself.
So I have this gut feeling that maybe Ivy is one of these rulers. Because didn't she talk about how saving her was going to help save multiple worlds? And if these worlds aren't in balance anymore.
And beyond that,
Mhm.
if Steve was the servant, and the
It would
servant's
make
role was
sense.
to protect.
I'm going to go with the seedier side of that
Oh,
because I think that Ivy could be a scribe and maybe Steve was in some kind of rebellion. Because when I talked to Steve about Ivy, like there seemed to be a little something more than just your typical like duty going on here.
Wait a second. And that makes sense to me because Piven here says that the rulers are not good creatures, that they've been bad and corrupted. So what if it was that bull creature that's the ruler? I don't know.
well, if that's the case, we're helping Ivy though.
Yes.
Yeah, but if Ivy's a scribe, then that would be a good thing. I think if she's a ruler, then maybe not.
I think either in this case, because if she's a scribe, she can help us get to the other places. And if she's a ruler, then we need to get her back to her place so that everything's back in balance, right?
Well, I don't know because it said that's why I was asking the question
Well-
about defeated.
Well,
What does
I
defeated
think,
mean?
remember that an unsettled death can rip a hole in the fabric of reality and create a passageway. And Ivy seems to be an unsettled death because we happen to be reliving it every single night.
Well, I mean, either way, we have to take that risk to talk to her now that we have more information. Like we need.
Well,
we
now
just,
tonight, can we please ask some questions and prepare them in advance and ask them when we're ready?
Well, I mean, we tried to last time, but then somehow that didn't happen.
Don't remind me.
We didn't get quite far enough into everything. We were
We'll
a
be
little
more
excited.
prepared this time.
I mean, we can't be less prepared, right?
God.
Are there any things, Pivim, remembering that we are new here, we don't have experience here, we don't have objects or materials from here, we don't have experience with anything like food or transit or living quarters or things to wear or the books or stories you tell. Is there anything you can give us or inform us of that you think might be essential to our passage through this world, or might help us in our journey? Because even if you come with us, your magics, your knowledge, your experience, that's going to be essential for us, because it's like showing up in New York without a subway map. You're pretty much going to get stuck somewhere.
He thinks
And
about it.
good luck.
He thinks about it for a long while. He says, turns to you, Maeve, and says, you say that there are stories of me in your world.
Not necessarily you specifically, but creatures like you.
Well, there are stories of creatures like you in my world. I would say, trust the stories. Trust what the scribes have told you throughout time.
That's
But
good.
they haven't told us anything.
There are
We
fairy
don't know the
That you know of.
stories.
We've been guessing.
We don't know the stories of your world. That's what I'm saying. If you
He's
have a
just-
children's
saying-
book,
he's
that
saying
would be
trust-
lovely.
Trust the stories of your world
Oh, of our world.
Oh.
here.
Well then.
So
They
no gingerbread
probably-
houses or
Trying
wolves with granny's hats.
No, Maeve, don't you have that book?
We do?
The Snow Queen one. We've already seen stuff from that. That's a children's story, and we've already seen stuff from that here in the Vale.
So there might be others. Oh, like maybe one with talking lions or something.
I mean, I can talk to a lion.
Well, we
That's
did have
deep
a
magic
wee
or
bit
something.
as a little mermaid.
Silas, maybe that's why your fox is here.
Perhaps. Have you ever seen a fox that looks way too suspicious, Big P?
Suspicious fox.
I
That
mean, you
sounds
can
like
talk
a
to
gift.
animals, right?
Yes, I can sometimes.
Have you ever spoken to a fox?
Have I spoken to a fox? Not
And
a
was it
late
really snarky?
snarky fox. This is not a word I'm familiar with. This must be an
Kind of like
Airtale
I
word.
talk to you?
Hello, I'm Maeve.
Yeah. Very exhibit A.
Exhibit A in the dictionary next to snarky. He sort of looks at you strangely. He says, foxes would be some of the few of the creatures that have access to both Éarte and the Vale simultaneously.
What about moose?
Absolutely.
Or meese.
Or meese.
Mooses?
Piven, do they have basketball in Lorelia?
We have baskets. We have balls.
Okay. It could still
I-
happen.
You know what I have to say? I have to say I'm really impressed that you've managed to survive here alone for this long.
It was not
Some
easy.
hero
If
stuff.
I were not so good at hiding, things would have been much worse for me. And I'm lucky.
We've been very bad at hiding, but there's been a bunch of us, and a couple of them are pretty powerful, and it's been very helpful.
I think what we should do is rest our minds and our bodies and wake up, take time to digest all of this information, come up with questions, and then put the shard in.
I'm going to read off the titles of a bunch of stories. Vivian, why don't you pick one? We'll read it before bed.
I'll read it before bed.
And so I'll read off
Sure.
the titles of the it's because it's the Snow Queen and other stories,
Yes,
right?
and other stories, yes.
And I'll just go through. I have happen to have my Hans Christian Andersen
Amazing.
complete fairy tales. And for the moment, this is going to be my headcanon for the edition we have, but whatever you want
Go
to be
for
in
it.
there.
Go
And I'll
for it.
start reading through the tallow candle, the tinderbox, little claws and big claws, the princess and the pea, little Ida's flowers, Thumbelina, the naughty boy, the traveling
He
companion.
stops at Thumbelina and he says,
Thumbelina.
oh, this is an old family name.
Oh, family name.
This is an old.
There once was a woman who wanted so very much to have a tiny little child. And I start reading.
Okay.
And we read the story of Thumbelina, which you all may be fairly familiar with. He sort of glasses. If you can see, he starts to get very sleepy as you're reading this, and a lovely little smile crosses his face as he goes, "Wow!" He's just absolutely astonished and comforted, and he says, "Wow, there really are stories of me and my kind in Éarte. I could not be more honored." As his head sort of nods and he begins to fall asleep.
We'll do the
We're
same.
definitely going to bring him with us.
I mean, with his consent, right?
It sounded like he wanted to
Oh
come.
my
to
goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt.
I'm just saying,
We
you
did
know,
ask
Fairuza, that
questions.
was like a little.
It's not like we're going to pick him up and
Intense.
put him in our pocket and take him. I mean,
Unless he wants us
he's quite
to.
cute. Unless he wants us to, but.
So not that I don't trust Big P snoring over there, but we might still want to set up some watches just to
Agreed.
make sure.
Okay.
All right.
I'll go first. I can't sleep right now.
All right. We've got Silas up first.
I'll take the final watch because I like getting up early.
That's right. Robin's last.
I'll go next. Are we doing one by one? Or are we doing duos?
Well,
or-
you can do. You need 3 watches to cover the night, so you can do duos.
I'm
Fairuza,
fairly
you can
tired,
go-
so
Yeah,
I
Maeve.
prefer to go later.
All right. So
maybe
Maeve and Robin in the morning.
Okay.
All right. Fairuza and Neb, you can either be alone
Yeah, let's do it.
or
Let's
together
do it.
in the middle or join Silas.
Let's do it. Let's join. I can't really sleep either. I'm gonna stay
All right.
awake.
Fairuza will stay up with Silas.
Yeah.
And Neb, you want to take the middle one alone?
Yeah, she's kind of looking over at our friend. Yeah, I'll take the middle one. Yeah, I'm kind of tired.
Okay,
Maybe
great.
he'll be awake by then.
he's adorable with that snoring.
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad for such a tiny little
Yeah.
set of lungs and nasal passages.
Put on the
It's really-
headphones, turn
Robin
on the
actually-
audio filtering.
Robin, actually, you can see her settle in just a little extra comfy to that sound because it reminds her of someone.
Oh, Harold was a snorer.
Of course he was.
Of course, Harold was a snorer. All right. So yes, Neb, Robin, and Maeve, you find places. It's quite warm here. There's a little bit of, maybe grass, dried grass strewn on the ground. So it can be a little bit more comfortable. He's definitely made himself a cozy space here. As you put on your headphones, your hoods, wrap yourselves up. Your clothes are beginning to dry a little bit in the heat from the fire.
Before we sleep, I want to
Yeah.
make sure that the shard is well protected and secured. Who has it right
Who's
now?
has it at the moment?
Oh my god, can you imagine? If you tried.
Lauren, you're muted.
You're
Yeah,
muted, Lauren.
you do, Maeve. You pickpocketed it
okay.
and
Yes,
stabbed it.
I will go ahead and secure that in one of my sort of secret pockets so that
Okey-doke.
it's not something that someone could easily, 1, know about, or 2, find.
Good.
Gotcha. Sounds good.
And
all
keep
right.
it wrapped in cloth, the don't
Yes.
want to touch it thing from
Gotcha.
before.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay. Silas and Fairuza, you watch the other 4 fall asleep, cozy up.
Yeah.
And it's nice. Now it is, it's the middle of the day, but in here it's quite dark, so it would be easy to forget that.
Mhm.
What would you like to do?
Well, I guess, I mean, first of all, it's well, I guess this little cave is big enough to house all of them, but it's like hard to imagine it is, but it is. So they're just sort of sitting by the fire, watching everybody rest and stuff. And,
You can hear the storm has turned to a pretty gentle rain outside. It's very, very meditation app. Crackle of fire.
Oh, one other question.
Yes.
I had picked up when we shattered the tea set back underwater. I had picked up a shard of that and the butter knives.
You
Do
went to
I
look
still
for it?
have those, or did those disappear?
They're gone.
Thank you.
oh, boy. Okay, good to know.
So anything we picked up after we returned to the hab is gone. Yeah.
Well, anything, most of, yes. Anything that wasn't there before.
That wasn't there before is what I mean. Yeah.
has now gone.
That's good to know. Oh boy. Well, Silas, Robin was talking about that article she wrote called "The Mystery of the Missing Gnome, Garden Gnome," something like that. She said.
Yeah, it's like it's super easy to believe her, but does it start to strain the credibility a little bit? Like, I mean, yeah, it's like, I mean, it's been like 80 something years. I get it, but so many different things. I mean, she's lived a life is all I'm saying.
She has. Robin is like kind of an anomaly.
I'm saying that I feel like she was some kind of government recruit that, like, got plunged into a lot of these different things. Like, because, normal people normally don't have that much, like, chutzpah or whatever. Like, that much, like, drive.
Yeah,
I think is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Almost like she's lived like 100-something years.
Yeah, it's like she's lived 150 years and 80 something.
Yeah. Is she really 80 something now? I think
I think so. Didn't she say that? Am I just making, is that just my head canon?
No, she said it.
Oh, she said 80 something.
Yeah, she's 80.
She's definitely spry for 80.
Yeah. I mean, I think this place is doing a lot of things to all of us. And speaking of that,
yeah,
like I'm just going to be honest. Like, I've been just kind of, drifting along a little bit because, honestly, I thought this was like a joke for the first couple of days. Then I thought it was just, like kind of a hopeless situation for like a few days after that. And then I kind of thought that, like, well, I'm just kind of curious to see what's going to happen next after that. But like, this is the first time I feel like we have some kind of, and it could be all false or something. I mean, this, gnome might just like rise up in the middle of the night and try to kill us all. Like, I don't know.
We're doing watches, exactly.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I feel like this is the first time that I've had, like, I don't know, a purpose or something, and it just makes me feel differently about things. And
yeah, doesn't it? And I agree with you, because the first day or so, I thought, like, maybe this was part of the dinner theater sort of thing. And I was like, until we got attacked. And then I was like, hold up.
Yeah, wait a minute. Like something.
And then I was like, are we stuck in this random place? But running into this, and she gestures toward the gnome, has changed things. There's something we're supposed to do, but then we're supposed to get out of here before we turn into an undead.
And see, the only thing that like keeps running through my mind right now, like seriously, and this is why, I think I'm gonna have to do something about it. But it's like I keep hearing the dun 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 dun, and like. I don't know. I feel like I need to get myself in some kind of shape or something. Like, we've got to save like the entire cosmos. It's not even like a world or something. So like, I'm gonna do some push-ups.
Wind sprints on the beach or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some push-ups and some stuff over here. And I don't want you looking at me because it's gonna look like a walrus or something. But like, I'm gonna get started, is what I'm saying. Because we've got like
now since we can't sleep.
Exactly. We've got a cosmos to save.
Let's do it. Push-ups. Now, Silas and Fairuza get up and they start doing like military push-ups.
Start working out.
Burpees.
Yep. And that's how I spend most of the rest of the watch.
The rest of the rest.
And that's why tomorrow Silas and Fairuza can't lift their arms.
Fairuza's probably fine.
That's true.
All right. So actually, we'll say, Fairuza, you take to it quite easily. You know, you were maybe not someone who did a ton of working out, in your normal life, but this is really, you're finding really easy. You do the one hand behind the back and the other one.
What?
And you can tell Silas knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like he has done it at some point in his past, but it's been way too long. And but then Silas is like mixing it in, right? So you see that he's doing he's also like trying to train the mind, like the meditation that he's been doing to like get this wind force around him and the telekinesis and everything. So he's when he's doing push-ups, he's trying to figure out how to do push-up, but then also like go up higher with his hand off the ground a little bit, and
a little assist.
The body is failing a lot
magic
more than the
assist.
mind, though.
Yeah. You look very, very focused. And I'll say, as you are watching Fairuza, do these exercises, these things that Fairuza describes when, her emotions get heightened, you even begin to see. And as Fairuza, you're really getting into it, and this sort of stormy, cloudy look comes across your eyes, and little bursts of sparks of light seem to, radiate off the tips of your hair. You can also outside, you begin to hear a little bit of a howl of wind, the rain changing its cadence a little bit, almost mimicking the energy you can feel coming off of Fairuza in those moments.
I'm going to run outside and do some wind sprints. I'll be right back.
Don't go too far, Fairuza. Like, seriously, because we don't want our next adventure to be like finding you again.
Oh, that's true. I've never been able to do a push-up, Silas.
Yeah, I think you've got that down quite a bit.
This is all part of it. I think you're exactly right. I think we have a purpose.
We absolutely do. And one thing, like, I'm not great at a lot of things. I'm really good at like collecting things. I'm good at like remembering, somewhat useless to many people out there facts. I would argue with that. I think they're very useful. But one thing that I can do is like when I have something to focus on, I can really focus on things. And like I said, I've been floating and it's really refreshing to have something to sink my teeth into. This is going to be fun.
I have a question for you that something has never been answered. I mean, although it did come in quite handy, I have to say, what was with the towels?
I mean, it's like, so.
Or is it just you just had to get the taking things sort of out of your system?
No, my mother and she wasn't around for much of my life, but the first gift I ever remember getting from someone anyway, she actually got me this set of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle towels. And so I still have like the shreds of one of them. Sorry, Raph and Don and Mikey, like I don't have you anymore, but I still got Leo, kind of like a really ratty towel, back in my collection. But that's really all I had of my mother. And so then it became just like a thing where like I always like took towels from every hotel I ever stayed in, and it was many over the years. And so then I just had the towels, and then I would sometimes make things with them. And so, yeah, like I think that's the original reason that I cared about towels. But then like so many things, it's not even really about that anymore. It's almost like a routine now that I instinctively just grab towels wherever they are.
That answers that question. I feel like all of us have like something from home with us. Like for me, it's this
the axe. Yeah.
And it's something
that
that
you
my,
just brought
my
on a
dad
train, and if this had been like a real,
it's
transportation authority thing, it never would have happened. Yeah, exactly.
always in my
Fairuza-
backpack. It's always somewhere with me. So
Fairuza,
Yeah,
as you
it's
are
like-
asking Silas about his collecting and to sort of these things that he does, as you look into his eyes, there is also sort of a cloudy, misty, floaty, almost as if you're looking into the galaxy, sort of within his irises, within that space. Something other, something stronger, staggering about him. Silas, you can add on to that if you wish. But.
Yeah, and just occasionally, especially around the moments where he's not deflecting and saying something true or real, that actually ties into a real emotion. So the recovering sociopath part of it, like when those parts kind of emerge. You see just a little, almost like, beam of kind of bluish white light, like kind of flicker across the eyes. But then it's
shooting
pretty
star.
Yeah, it's pretty instantly going after that.
Okay, I'll add to that with Fairuza, what you can perceive, Silas, is that along with the static electricity that you're used to it for when she sort of gets, ragey, but now it seems to stay more, but a subtle version. It doesn't completely go away. Also, it looks like she has a little bit more hair, almost like her hair is growing longer. Too fast. It's growing too long, too fast. Yeah.
I'll also offer Silas. You feel like you're having to raise your head even a little more to talk to her.
Fairuza, like we're gonna have to return to the cave at some point. Like, did we ever put one of those on the train? Because I think that you're getting taller.
I'm getting taller? How is it possible?
There are rips in your clothing, Fairuza, at the seam. Now, you've been through the ringer, but the muscles feel a little bit.
Yeah.
Whew.
I mean, this is just like one workout. And like, this is, I mean, the thing is, like, I got to be honest too, because Big P said that we were brittle. And I was like, if we're about to have to face everything that we're about to have to face, I don't want to be so brittle, maybe. So as long as you can be like my workout buddy.
I'll definitely be your workout buddy.
Maybe not make fun of me for being a walrus.
Maybe I have a career as like a personal trainer or something back in New York City. Do you think people would hire me to like teach them how to?
Absolutely, of course they would. I mean, like, you've got built in, like, if you continue to like spark and things, like when we get on the other side, like when we get out of this veil, then yeah, like you've got quite a business.
You think we're going to get through the veil and then still be able to use our powers back home and not end up in like a zoo somewhere, the five of us together?
Hey, listen, like, this sounds incredibly, like, I don't know, self-serving maybe. And I genuinely don't mean it like this. But the other part of me trying to, like, make sure that we're not as, or I'll do my language. Make sure that I'm not as brittle, and make sure that, like, I really start training and trying to harness whatever this stuff is because I don't want to lose it. Like, this is literally something that I've dreamed of my entire life. Superpowers. Being able to move things with my mind like I don't have 2 months. With my mind like a Jedi. Like, I mean, like, this is the thing. Like, I can't imagine giving this up. And so if this is something that we only get in the veil, and then like on the other side of this, I'm going to lose it. I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. And so in my mind, the best thing that I can do is try to make sure that I just get so good at it here and like know how it works and be able to like make it almost like reflexive that maybe it sticks on the other side of the veil.
Oh my God, that would be so amazing. We can write about our experiences and do like a mini series or something. And then we can literally be the Avengers.
Yes. Yes. I love it.
Oh my God. I wonder if the others would be down
A
for it.
surprising bonding moment for Fairuza.
Well, you know, I mean, not that I know a lot about the Avengers at all. However,
It's
I've
okay.
heard of them.
Yeah. We could absolutely. We would have to come up with another name because of copyrights and everything. But we can be thinking about what that would be.
Yeah, this is amazing. Do you trust that gnome?
I mean, I think that's probably irrelevant now because, like, I think we at least have enough information to like go back to Ivy. I just hope that this time we're not like just standing there and like, hey, what's the list of questions? And then, you know, we're asking what the list of questions should be when 2:13 or whatever the time is like comes by. Like, hopefully we can get up in the morning, find all the questions, and then, or get up later tonight rather, and then find all the questions and then go there at 2 a.m. and have everything just bam, 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 ready to go, because I'm not messing with that bull again.
Me neither. And speaking of questions, I think Hope has just answered the question of her article. Where's the missing gnome? It's somewhere, and he might know.
Yeah. All right. I think it's probably getting close, and I at least want to go like kind of rinse off somewhere. Is there water that I can access?
The rain.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. I'm gonna go just right outside. Still try to stay, like where I can still hear fire maybe or whatever, and just try to scrub off all the nasty that just happened with trying to work out for the first time in many years.
You got it.
Oh yeah, true.
You climb down this little, cutout stepping stone ladder here. Move over to that, thin crack in the rock face, and sort of stick your hands out just to sort of touch a little bit of this gentle rain that is starting to come down. And as you look out, you can see that the oceans are beginning to calm. After a number of hours now, the storm seems to have mostly passed. It is this gentle rain. The tide is now beginning to kind of come back out. The dock, beginning to settle, although there's still a little bit of a wave to it. And you can see that while the cliff face is still quite slippery, it is not being pummeled by waves any longer at this point.
You're taking a bath, Silas?
I mean, yes.
Okay. I mean, I didn't even break a sweat.
Yeah. That's a lot of humble brag right there.
I'll look out for you. I'll look out for you.
I mean, I'll be right back. I'm just kind of, rinsing off a little bit.
Okay.
This isn't a significant bathing experience.
It's an insignificant bathing experience.
All right. Don't go far.
Fantastic. Anything else you'd like to do before you pass on your...
Yeah.
I'm wore out.
Okay, fantastic. You two go to rouse Neb, who's going to take the middle section here on their own.
You gonna be okay solo, Neb?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
right. You're gonna try to wake up the gnome, aren't you?
Not intentionally.
No. Okay.
But before, can you give me one of your
if he does happen to wake up, at least I'll have someone to talk to, right? But if not, that's okay.
Okay. So Silas and Fairuza, after your workout, you're tired. You've had quite the ordeal. You've been damaged. You've been, escaping. You're covered in bruises and cuts, and your mind still feels a little bit addled as you let yourselves fall into unconsciousness. Neb, and what would you like to do? Yeah.
So as much as Neb would like to talk to the gnome, she wouldn't just wake him up.
Gotcha.
But what she will do is go take a seat near enough to the fire that she can still read off of it, but far enough away that she's got like some space.
Yes.
And she's gonna pull out the animal book that she picked off of the train. And for a while is just kind of thumbing through it, looking at all of the stuff that's in there and kind of scratching at her shoulder. And then at some point when she thinks everybody has gone to sleep, she's going to put the book down, She's going to take a hard look under her sweatshirt
Yes.
at like this chunk of skin that's gotten pretty hard under her shoulder, on her shoulder. And then she's going to think about turning into a rat. And because we got a short rest earlier,
Yes.
she back into Nebrat.
Little Nebrat.
And she'll take a second and just kind of stand there.
Everything is very large now.
Oh, I'm never going to get used to this.
Little
And
Neb
she'll
POV.
kind of paw at the fur on that shoulder to see if anything has changed.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a couple of minutes, she'll think about releasing that form and going back to herself again.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of takes another look. And it's a little bit bigger.
Hmm. What does it look like? Does it have texture, color, sensation?
It's definitely like almost calloused skin that just keeps growing, and it's definitely rough, but the roughness as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger is forming a pattern, almost like a flower petal pattern expanding, and it has this blue tinge to it that's darker right kind of in the middle and then slowly spreading. And Neb kind of thinks about that for a little bit and then waits for another hour or so, make sure nothing's happening. And then she's going to do it again and wild shape back into a rat and then back up and then look at it again. And just kind of make a mental note. And that's, unless the gnome wakes up on his own, that's all she's going to do, is keep an eye on everything and her shoulder.
Okay. As you're sitting there sort of scratching, you do hear a little stirring as Pivum sort of opens one eye. He says, I smell rat.
Oh, well, you don't have to call me out like that.
He says, rats are incredible, fantastic beings. Oh, you should never feel ashamed.
Oh, no. I met a whole bunch of them in the cave that we were at. Did you ever go to the mine while you were here?
Oh, yes, of course. Did you meet Nicholas?
Yes, we did. It kind of freaked everybody else out, but we were still learning about a lot of things. I went to their party and it was amazing.
Oh, wasn't it? They've got the best grub. And as he does, he looks at you, he winks, and he snaps. And immediately, there's a little white rat, a little red eye, sitting there in front of you. As he kind of, comes forward and sniffs at you. And kind of then perches up on his little hind legs.
And she'll scramble and grab the book that she's been looking at and say, so I've just been trying to remember what I can. I was never really into animals as a kid, and now I really regret it. But I have this book, and I've been trying to really pay attention to stuff and draw out what I want. And she'll start, to anyone else, it probably looks weird, but she'll show the rat the book. And just be flipping through pages.
Yeah, climbs up and starts to run through the pages, and moving them with his little paws. Every once in a while, he'll sort of nudge onto a picture of a different animal. After a little while, he pops back into gnome form, and he says, "Oh, this is an excellent book. Very, very helpful." And he says, "I've been this one. Oh, I've done that one. Oh, I've done that one." And as you go through the book, he's showing you a lot of different animals. He's very focused on mammals and sort of smaller, more dexterous, lithe kind of creatures. Sort of living in a very sort of natural, grounded space.
That's amazing. We're going to have to, when we have a few minutes and I'm not supposed to be watching out for dangers, I would love to compare and learn anything that you've learned, because we've just been making all of this up as we go and kind of figuring things out. And none of us really have the same power set, I guess, or we haven't found any crossovers. I haven't been able to ask any of the others about this, and I haven't been able to help them with anything. So
well, all of our powers are our own. even if you and I share some similar abilities, that doesn't mean that, you will make of your abilities the way that I have made of my own. Each is unique unto themselves. He says, in fact, and he pushes down along and he finds Bandicoot within your book, which is a very large rat. It's like a 2-foot long rat, but it is quite beautiful, and this beautiful sort of brown deserty coloring to it. And he says, the majestic Bandicoot. We have long revered them. Someday you must try. It is a thrill.
Oh, absolutely. I'll bookmark this as another one I can try. Every once in a while I come across one and I can't seem to picture it in my head, I guess, clear enough. Mostly birds. Birds have been hard. I really want to do a bird, but birds have been hard.
Yes, it took me a long time before I could do a bird. I don't like flying. Flying is it gets in my tummy, so I don't do the flying.
I can't wait to find out for myself if it's okay. Neb will start flipping, but look at him and say, do you happen to know how to turn into a fox?
He says, oh, yes, of course. Snaps. And there's a little fox. His fox is a little white fox, like a little snow fox.
Do you mind if I take a close look? I know that's probably a weird question, except, I mean, I'm happy to turn into something for you to take a look, but can I take a look?
He does. He turns around on the spot, poses a couple of different times, gives a little scratches, waggles his tail. He's very excited.
I will clap like he's walking a runway, but then without touching, like get real close and just, oh, that's where the extra toe is. Okay. And, wow, that's a much longer tail than I thought I saw in the book. Okay.
Oh yeah. He'll show you, as he'll dig in the ground to show you how the claws work. He'll gnaw on a stick to show you how the teeth work. He's very excited to sort of share this information, this expertise that he has.
And that's basically until it's time to wake everybody else up. I'm just gonna excitedly ask questions. If he's woken up after I've already changed twice, Neb can't do it anymore. She needs a little more sleep. But she'll definitely go through the book and be like, and just ask questions.
At a certain point, he's also not changing any longer. He's spent on that as well. But he starts to, you two are sort of sitting with these books next to each other, your legs spread out in front of you in the firelight, kind of going through the pages and talking about them and any of the animals that he has himself experienced. He shares with you the pros and cons of which, yes, as a bird, you get this wonderful, sense of the magnetism of the world. But yes, flying makes me airsick, so he's giving you all these little tips and tricks, but admits that it's all very personal.
But Neb has pulled out a pencil and is hardcore marginalia, making notes for every single, be careful of magnetism, this and this, like anything that he has to say, she is just writing right into the book.
Fantastic.
She's that kind of note taker.
Yeah, give me an insight check. Why not?
Actually, I would love you to. It's a +6.
Okay. You can see that he was a bit guarded before, even though he was excited and shared all of his stories and things that he knew. He seems lonely. He's been on his own here for a long time, and very little by little, as you begin to look through the book and show each other these special skills, he has had no one to share this with, and you get this strong sense of excitement and connection and that really he was maybe in a bit more desperate state than he was letting on.
And as Neb feels that, she'll definitely start asking more gentle questions about like, what else have you been able to do? And like, let him show off, both to help him feel a little better and also to learn whatever he can do. Maybe she can learn how to do it too.
As your shift here begins to wane down, he begins to look a little wistful, and he asks you. He says, Do you miss Éarte?
I
know you have not been
miss-
here long.
No, it's only been like 10 days. I miss my family, for sure. I miss my whole giant family, but I don't miss the place. Does that make sense? But I miss the
Yes.
people there.
It does. I miss my people. It has been so long. My sister was but a child, and now she will be almost a woman.
Yeah.
I wonder who she is.
Well, as much as I do miss my family, not only has it only been practically a week or so, I'm not ready to go back. I would love to help you get back to your home.
I do. I've been so focused on Éarte and finding this magical place. I seem to have forgotten the magic of my home, of my people. You have awakened in me a desire, a dream to find my way back if I can.
I mean, family is wonderful, right? And knowing that they're there to support you is the only reason that I feel like I can go on this adventure. Is I know that they would want me to, right? They'd be supportive of me. And yeah, if you've been here for that long, I think they would like to see you and know what you've been up to.
Well, now that you're here, I was afraid for them, afraid of what my world was becoming and what would happen to them. And I felt called to find my way to Éarte, to bring some of you, some of the children of this beautiful world back here to help us. But perhaps my calling is different. Perhaps my calling is to help you, to prepare you, to do what I can so that you can help us. Perhaps I misunderstood the stories. It is very easy to do that, you know.
They're very vague. They're very,
They are interpretive,
well,
subjective.
I like the idea of helping you because, like, this whole adventure has been exciting, but I've wanted to know so much more, but we haven't really known what to do beyond just looking for these mirror shard pieces. But now I feel like I've got a bigger reason to do all of this, right? Like help you get home and then see what we can do to help. I don't know how turning into a wolf can help, but I'll do what I can.
If you could help contain Zola, help contain her, help contain the others, the other rulers, stop this great change, you would be saving countless lives. I cannot begin to tell you how important this work will be.
I don't know how, but you said that the four of them got along for a while, right?
The story says that they were chosen, called upon to uphold the balance. But as time went on, they became unsatisfied with their own worlds. They wanted more.
Well, if they got along for a while, maybe that's something that we can help them, is remembering what it's like to get along with your family. I mean, if they're the four people who were chosen to rule, it kind of sounds like a family to me. So I don't know if we can. I'll try my best. Well, I'll do what we can, but maybe that's a start, right? Is reminding them that they don't have to fight, that maybe getting along with your family is better than fighting, especially if it's going to destroy the entire world, universe. I don't know.
You can see under his whiskers, his mouth sort of breaks into a wide smile, and he looks at you and he says, you are a great example of the compassion of your kind. I had heard the stories, but I did not know such as you existed.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you. But what I'm starting to learn is sometimes that compassion gets in the way of staying safe. though. So yeah, so being able to do more for my friends would be nice.
Everything with a price, yes.
Yeah.
He gives a little yawn. Oh, I think you should wake your friends. I'm feeling a bit sleepy again.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
He
Thank
curls
you.
up.
I really appreciate it.
He curls up in the corner again immediately. Deep, thunderous snores. And yes, up next will be Robin and Maeve.
Yeah, I'll give them both kind of gentle shakes on the. After the talk that she's had with Silas, she won't go poking at Foot. She'll go doing poking at his shoulder real gently until the both of them are up, and then go curl up next to the fire herself.
All right. Maeve and Robin, you've been awakened. It's now afternoon. The rain is pretty much ceased. If you were to poke down and sort of look out of that crack, you'd see some sun shining, some late afternoon sun.
Robin will definitely take a moment to like soak in the sun as she wakes up and just, oh, it's so good to see the sun.
I'm not going to argue with you there. It's true. Who would have thought that less than a day would be far too long?
How are you doing?
I mean, that's a lot they just told us. Save the universe. Just a little bit of pressure there. Just a little bit.
You know, I was starting. Oh.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I felt in my old age I was starting to slow down, and this has really rejuvenated me. And the thought that our adventure is just beginning, I feel like I have purpose again.
Well, I was going to ask you if you'd ever saved the world before. It seemed like that might be something you might have done.
Not on my
Had a
list
job.
yet.
I am both a bit surprised and, to be completely honest, a bit disappointed because it would have been nice to reference that. But so where are the subjects of fairy tales? That's a bit strange.
It's kind of magical. Makes you feel a little bit like a celebrity.
You've been one of those before.
Well, I was once an actor where I played a dead body in a soap opera. So
Right.
I kind of know what it's like.
That one. Glad we have at least that. You never know when playing a corpse will come in handy.
That's right.
What do you think about all this?
Well, yes, it is a lot to take in, for sure. I definitely think our last adventure was a wake-up call to the seriousness that we're in. I honestly thought we weren't going to make it out. There were a lot of hard decisions to make down there, and I've had a lot of hard decisions in my life, but just the thought of losing one of you, I know it's only been a week or so, but
9 days, I think.
I've lost track. It's one thing to lose yourself, and if that's how it goes, that's how it goes. But if I didn't do everything in my power to keep you guys safe, well, then I will have failed at life.
I just realized it's Christmas Eve.
Is it? Wow.
That's strange.
Never spent a holiday quite like this.
Me neither.
With a small bearded fellow.
That part of Christmas is usually there, but a little taller, a bit broader. Do you think? And I look over at Fairuza and I say, I'm not quite sure how to say this. Do you think she's okay?
I think she might be doing better than ever. She just doesn't know it yet.
Because this keeps happening.
What?
This losing herself.
I believe Fairuza was quite a strong and independent person in her environment. You know, back in our world, she knew herself, and that was the strength that she kept. And now when everything in her life was turned upside down, it caused her to doubt herself and everything she knew. But I don't know, maybe that made her a little more susceptible to the magic of this world. She wasn't believing in herself over everything. And that caused her to have all these situations. But I think she's coming out stronger than ever on the other side of it.
Well, that doesn't make you nervous.
Nervous? About what?
To rely on someone who's prone to that.
Well, it's one thing to know that while she is strong, she is not carrying all of us by herself. We are a team.
Yet. I mean, she's getting pretty strong.
I just think that, we look out for each other. As long as we have each other, then no one has to carry the full load.
How are you so sure all the time? You just trust it all the time, and that's not how things work.
Blame it on my old age and maybe all of my life experiences. Not all of them have gone to plan. And, I had an aunt who raised me, and she was so carefree. She taught me just to go with the flow, and it was a life lesson I took to heart. And I know that I'm sure in myself all these years. And maybe I'm a bit throw caution to the wind these days because I am so old. I don't have forever. And if I go out in a blazing glory of fire or whatever. But I don't know. That's just how I am. And you, I feel like you've taken on so much responsibility in this group. How are you holding up?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Maeve, have you had a chance to fix your hair through all of this yet?
It's a bit messy.
Might Robin notice anything?
Yes. I think in this case, Robin might notice something. Robin, you might catch a glimpse of two, they almost look like clips in Maeve's hair, that have the same pattern that Steve had all over his body, sort of sticking out towards the front of Maeve's head at the top. Just small, not anything substantial, but Maeve's hair is loose. And yeah, if you look carefully, the pattern, there are markings on them, and if you look closely, it is the pattern that was on Steve's body.
Robin will take that in and think for a moment, and without mentioning them particularly, Maeve, how have you been handling the passing of Steve?
Oh, fine.
Have you ever lost someone in your life?
I mean, a bit. Yeah. I told you my mom was in the military, so there certainly were people we knew growing up who went away and didn't come back. And also we traveled a lot, so there were a lot of people who I was close to who I knew for a time, and then that was it. You try and stay friends, but it's not the same. So yeah. And you just move on. That's what happens. You just move on. You have to. You can't sit there and just doing it. You have to move on.
Well, it's one thing to move on, and it's another to remember them in the good times. It's a balance for sure, but hopefully you don't carve those memories out of your life just to preserve yourself.
No, you wouldn't. Steve deserved better.
Yes.
Steve deserved better.
Robin, as Maeve and you have this connecting moment, is there anything shifting about you that she might grasp? You've mentioned, or others have mentioned, you're still slow, you're still, in your 80s, but there is a vitality. Are there changes you're noticing or that Maeve would see if she looked at you closely?
Maeve would notice while Robin speaks of vitality and feeling better, she's not standing as tall or as straight. You're starting to notice maybe a hunch in her posture. But other than that, she looks about the same.
Wonderful. So your time is starting to kind of come to an end. The others are rousing. Pivum is also sort of gotten up, and he's going and collecting some sort of tinder and things to add to the fire here and there to keep it warm now that you're all rousing. He looks to you and goes, "Oh, you all needed that, didn't you? You look much better rested."
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's been a long couple of days. What time is it? I've totally lost track of what time it is.
It's definitely, it's been 12 hours, so it's evening time now. There's still, a little bit of light, but it's that beautiful kind of dusk, misty time. Some of the stars have come back out as, Pivum sort of, guides you back out onto the beach. The tide has pulled itself out. There's a good long stretch of beach now there in front of you. The cliff face is completely bare. The birds have returned. There's some of the soft cooing as they settle in for the evening. But yeah, the sky is this lovely kind of bluish grayish mauve color.
We need to get back to the train.
Yes,
Are we going to try to talk to Ivy tonight? I think we probably have time. Especially Big P, do you know a way up this?
He's talking to you.
Oh,
Frank.
yeah. Pivum?
Pivum.
Pivum.
Ivum.
Pithum.
Ivum.
Pithum.
With a V.
With a V.
With a V.
With a V?
Hivum.
There's so many
Hivum.
accents here. It's amazing.
I'm saying the same thing. So yes, you kind sir. Do you know a way up? Do you know a way up without us disturbing these birds' nests? Because we seem to have a problem with that the last time around.
He looks, he goes, oh, yes, you're all enormous. You would have difficulty, wouldn't you? He says, I just slide right by. I mean, he's teeny. So, as he goes over to the switchbacks, and he speaks a little bit with the birds as he walks up to them. And kind of makes little cooing noises. They seem to just kind of fluff their feathers and move aside a little bit so that he can squeak by in the 4 inches of space because he's tiny.
So are they going to try? Did you ask them to play nice with us?
He sort of turns back to you and looks and turns back down to the birds and all kinds of little cooing noises.
Is that what I sound like when I'm doing that? Is that what happens with me?
The birds seem to roll their eyes and kind of move to the side a little bit as if they're going to give you a little bit more space to pass. It is still, we'll call it difficult terrain as you climb up because it is slippery from a lot of their leavings and feathers and things along the way. But if you follow Pivum, he will sort of take you safely up the switchbacks, watching out for any of the slippery patches, pointing things out. You reach the top of this cliff again as you look down over the open ocean that you literally spent the last 24 to 36 hours beneath the surface of as a storm passed. You can just see the remnants of that buoy with the diver's gondola over there where you left it, but it too looks like water has gotten into that gondola and submerged it, sunk it essentially as it sticks to the buoy there.
Good riddance.
Yeah.
I don't plan to come back.
Off in the distance.
I still want to go try to talk to whales, but maybe not immediately.
Off in the distance, you see the ridge of the backs of a number of whales and the spout of some water. They begin to circle around, tail flips, leaving their flukes, as they appear to be eating and congregating a good little ways offshore. But this is a beautiful space to spot them in the sort of purple, yellow, golden light of the setting sun. Behind you is the dead cold train sitting where you left it.
Are they eating the phytoplankton right now?
Can I tell what kind of whales they are from here, or does it list? Are they?
They're pretty far away. Let's do you can do a nature check.
I'll give it a try.
Give it a try.
That's a natural one for 4.
What? We're off to a good start.
They appear to be some sort of whale.
Some sort of whale.
Neb is
Over there.
too distracted thinking about what she wants to talk to the whales about to know exactly what they are, and so she's like, "Well, they're lovely."
So, what would you like to do? It is 2:13 is when you are aware that you can speak with Ivy. You can put the mirror shard in before then if you'd like, but it's up to you if you want to wait now or what you want to do. You want to get the train going. What are your thoughts and plans?
We should get the questions first.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And we probably don't want to start working on the train until tomorrow because the last time we had to do this, it was dangerous enough, and I don't want to do it in the dark. So maybe we wait till tomorrow morning and we just focus on mirrors and questions and Ivy.
I mean, without the train being going, it might be a really cold night.
That's true.
Fairuza,
Dilemmas.
I'm more than happy to help try to get the train started, but Fairuza, you're the one that went through the most the last time.
With the train, yeah. Actually, I feel better than ever for some reason. I don't know. I feel really good.
She's like twice as tall. So.
Twice as tall?
A little hyperbole.
You do seem a little taller.
Maybe, things are feeling a little different. And I didn't want to say this last night because I didn't want to scare you, Silas, but when we were having our little conversation and et cetera, you definitely had something going on. I don't know if it was a power or a feeling or something, energy coming off.
This looks bigger, right? Like, I did all that for a couple of hours last night. Like, this is
last night, you guys, we did actually get we got some calisthenics and some workouts. I'm feeling like I can do an Ironman tomorrow. That's exactly how I'm feeling right now. So if you want me to start trying to get the train going so that we don't freeze to death, I'm open to that idea. But I'm
open to the idea of not freezing to death. For what that's worth. Right, so, just putting it out there.
So maybe we've got like 1 minute. I think we've established with Ivy. Maybe all of us can submit a question to an actual list that someone writes down, and then we can elect someone, not me, that doesn't ramble. That can literally read the questions off the sheet when the time comes. Does anybody want to volunteer for that? Not me.
I'm happy to read the list.
Yes.
Okay.
Neb, do you mind putting the list together? Because then that way we can all do our train jobs.
Okay.
And Neb, as you're doing your job, I think you greased. Is that right?
Yeah, I probably
then maybe
shouldn't.
You can.
I probably.
Yeah,
we're
Neb
only
and I
gonna.
were greasers.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't be writing stuff down.
You have some time. We're looking at 6 to 8 hours here before 2 a.m. So you need about 4 hours to get the train going. So if you want to figure out your questions, we can kind of fast track you through warming up the train. So you let me know what as you all are working on the train, if you want to stop and have a meal break in the middle there, have some of your protein bars and your berries, and discuss what questions you would like to ask.
I also suggest we only really come up with like 1 or 2 questions because we only get a minute, and there's a really good chance that 1 or 2 of those questions are going to inspire other questions. So
I'm just saying that all of us can submit a question, and then we can decide which couple that will.
Pippin looks to you and goes, "You are speaking with a ghost."
Yes, but what we figured out is that we only get a minute in where she can speak back, and it's at the same time every morning, and then a big giant bull comes out and is really angry. So,
how exciting!
Exciting is a word for it that I wouldn't use yet.
Well, it's how the servant died. So
yeah.
The servant is gone.
Like crunched.
He was with us for a while.
And I take out the little pebble I have.
Pippin looks shocked. As you look at his tiny little face, and all of you are covered in grease or soot or from whatever job that you have had trying to get this train running, checking things, and you are, again, tired, sweaty from all of this. You can see this has just floored him as he looks to you and he says, "Oh, if the servant is gone, then this is a new story we are writing.
Well,
there are no longer any rules or plots to follow."
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with making our own story. Before we get to 213, Maeve, do we want to put the shard in there beforehand?
If
she might be able to. Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to go to the room and place the shard.
Let's all go together.
Yes. Okay.
I feel like it could also be a chance, like Neb is going to explain as we go on in, this is the interior, this is where we are, this is the room, and then like
as
all of Steve's body is in there.
Yeah, as Pivum approaches that room at the threshold, you see him again sort of stop. And he sort of shakes his head. He says, this place is heavy with magic.
Yeah, you got that right, Doc Brown. And seriously though, like this mirror is in here, and we've got to put this shard in there, and we have been just completely going off of like really kind of random threads, to be honest. But we think that we've got to get all these mirror shards. There are 5 of them. Once we get them in there, we think that lets us escape what we now know as the veil. Does any of that seem to make sense to you?
He shrugs his tiny little shoulders. He says, "Your guess is as good
Writing
as my
a new
guess."
story. I got
But this place scares me, she says.
you. Yeah, we was all shook.
I think that's fair. We think a lot of really bad things happened in this room.
Yeah.
He gently steps across the threshold to join you in the room and immediately seems to have sort of a chill, shiver up his spine as he steps into the room.
We think that the unresolved death was the reason that there was a hole in the veil.
Mm-hmm.
We think it happened here.
He sidles up next to Neb's shin, just staying as close to some sort of warm body as he can, as he looks up at this mirror with just extreme concern on his face.
Silas is going to straddle the threshold. I don't think there's a door still, right?
Nope,
So,
no door.
yeah.
No, the door is gone.
Not all the way in the room, but also not out of it.
All right. Maeve, you have the shard.
I will take out the shard and keep it wrapped in cloth as I place it.
All right. Exposing it enough to sort of place it in its slot, it immediately, like a magnet, kind of gets pulled in. You can still barely see the little hairline crack, but it almost seems to disappear. And the face of Ivy appears beyond the glass, silent, but she looks at you with a little smile on her face. And that is where we will end this chapter. Thank you all very much for being here today. Such a pleasure to have returned, get a little lore check, get a little background for all of you.
Nom, nom, nom. Such good lore. Oh, I want to eat it all. Yes.
And wonderful. We will pick up next week.
It was a Christmas lore dump.
It was a Christmas lore dump. And thank you all. Remember that life itself is the most wonderful fairy tale. Good night.
Yay.